right. Welcome back, everyone, to Mind Your Words podcast. We have our special guest again, Michael. Welcome back. Hey,
Thank you,
Happy New
Victor.
Year.
Thank you. Thank you. And
How have
same
you
to you.
been, Michael?
So up and down, I guess. Trying to be positive, but I say I've got to admit, I do have some times where I go through mental health problems in like an existential crisis a bit, to be honest. But trying
Yeah,
to be positive, not be.
I understand that. At the beginning of the year, you start to think about what did you do last year, and then you're like, so many goals I did not reach, and what am I going to do now? And I've been through that every year. I think I go through that every year, and I think many people will understand how you're feeling because January is always that kind of month where you start to have doubts about what you're doing, what your existence, everything. Definitely. But I want to be positive. I want us to be positive. So I want to ask you, Michael, what are your ideas for 2026? Do you have an idea?
Normally, I like to focus on a certain theme for each month, and there's certain groups I like to empower or try to empower my ideas in each month. But I thought because it's January, to be honest with you. I know we're told not to be selfish, but I thought I'd focus on more of the selfish dream, like
Yeah,
going
why
for
not?
footy or soccer for Americans out there.
So, okay, so what's your plan for this month?
For this month, I to focus on my dreams for Italian soccer or football. For any,
Oh,
so yeah, to I I'm a bit obsessed with alliterations. So I'm thinking of like Italian football more generally, but Juventus generally because they start with J. And I'd love to. I know I'm trying not to. I'm, uh, I'm trying to wait till a different month to focus on neurodiversity, but I would love to put together different groups like neurodiverse people, people with mental health problems, um, my fellow Anglo-Indians and the Eurasians. Uh, sorry if it doesn't know much about Eurasians, but like people who are mixed, part European and part Asian, and groups like that to go to. I'd love to get different, if any organizations would want to help with like travel expenses and funding and to travel and show what we could contribute to Italian soccer, or whatever you want to call it. And so, like for instance, people with mental health problems, it could also help to give a purpose and um, to show a positive trait as well, like mental health problems and people with mental health problems, and also people with neurodiverse conditions. So yeah, and helping youth development in Italian
and
football.
it's actually, I've been doing stuff on Facebook for a while now with neurodiversic background, and I got the most support are actually from football fans, really. They love to support neurodiversic people, and I think it's a great idea to work with them. And it's amazing. Like I get a lot of football players talking to me about their dyslexia or their neurodiversic backgrounds, and I was surprised actually. I didn't expect to have this niche of people that I talk to be players and fans of football. And I'm very curious, Michael, why you want Italian football? What
Um,
do you like about them particularly?
uh, it's a fairly long story. I'll try and make it as short and sweet as possible. But when I was younger, I was about 12 or 13, and I sat in a school library, high school library, with my friend who's of Indian descent. I'm part Indian, and he's of Indian descent. And this girl who's also of Indian descent sat near us, and my friend asked a strange question like, "Why are you sitting here?" And she said, "Because I fancy this Italian guy." So
I
after
mean, you
that,
could have passed as Italian. I wouldn't guess that you're part Indian.
yeah, so after it wasn't straight away, but after a while, I thought, yeah, I think it'd be cool to look Italian. So I thought I look Italian. A few people have disagreed, a couple of people have disagreed with me, but I think actually I went to Subway near where I live, Subway, the sandwich place, and this lady from Sri Lanka said, "Are you Italian?" Because I had my Italian scarf.
Ah,
Yeah, old back because I had my Italian scarf, which one of my siblings got me, and she said. I said I'm not Italian. I just like their football teams. And she was like, oh, because I grew up in Italy, but she's of Sri Lankan descent, and she came here. I didn't ask her
Oh,
why, but she was like, I said, I think I look Italian. She said, yeah, Italians do look a lot like you. So I kind of just supported them since I was young, and that back then Italian football was top, and unfortunately it's gone a lot downhill. And I'd love to like make Italian football great again. Use that term, sorry, people that might not like Trump, but to borrow that term to make
yeah,
Italian
right.
soccer great again. I mean, a lot of Americans have invested in Italian footy,
That's
but I
true.
don't think I'd prefer some of the wealthy Arab investors to invest because I think they tend to invest more to bring those great players and all that kind of thing. And I'd love to promote youth development in town football. But I know before we went live, you said you're not a big football fan, and you've said it before, but and a few other people I know who said that. But I said I'm going to try and challenge myself to convert you to support soccer, but I
Exactly.
don't know if I'm going to succeed or not. And the
I
other
think
thing
you
I'll say,
are actually, because I didn't think about it, and now that you mention that, and I'm like, yeah, I find, like I said, you convinced me and reminded me that yeah, I have the most support from sports fans from football, soccer.
yeah.
So yeah, I have to now. You're making me curious. I'm going to be, doing a little research about Italian football and read which team in particular.
This strange thing, I like all the Italian teams
You
really.
like all of them?
I
Okay,
suppose the main one would probably be Roma in a way,
Roma. Okay,
just because their nickname is the Giallorossi. So I think I'd love for them to be the new Giallorossi. So to get loads of the new Galacticos to get loads of money and buy the best players and stuff like that. So I'd love to fundraise, especially
yeah.
for Roma, but Italian football more generally as well, and the national team.
Oh,
Um, and I was going to say as well about like converting people to be Italian soccer fans. I know that would be difficult to convince everyone, but
that's true.
um,
I mean, I have a little bias because I have Polish roots, so I always go for Legia or Polonia in Warsaw. So those hooligans are in my blood. So destroying stadiums is kind of my thing. But but okay, I will try to be more civilized, I guess. Oh my gosh. So okay, so that's for January. What about February? You have a plan for February?
February, I would love to support African Americans because it's Black History Month in
Oh yeah.
America, African American entrepreneurs and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And you have a lot of connection with African roots. I seen you talking to many. You created your own group with the African dyslexia group, and you're very active on there and communicating with Kenya and all the different countries there. How are you going to put that together on February? Do you have an idea?
Well, that's a good question.
You
Really,
should
what I
write
do
it
is
together.
sometimes I sort of share YouTube videos of like success stories. Um, Sometimes I try, if I can, I try and if I get the house to myself, so I think no one's going to distract me because I do like live videos. I go in the TV room and try and react to videos like Black Exorcist and things like that about success stories of African American entrepreneurs and that kind of thing. Um, but if anyone has ideas as well about what I could do better,
I
I'd
think
love
you should really talk about the roots because a lot of African Americans want to know their roots and be connected to their roots, and tying it together would be great. If you can do that. It's a big challenge, really. Definitely. Are you looking for volunteers to help you out in that?
I welcome people supporting like with ideas or with funding or yeah, suggestions or things like that.
Definitely. Yeah, anybody who's watching this podcast, if you have an idea or you want to help us out on that, feel free to message me and I can forward it to Michael. Definitely.
Thank you.
I'm sure Michael would be very happy to talk with you about it. That's for sure. Cool. What else are you planning this year?
Uh, I was thinking for this video, I thought we should focus probably just on this month maybe, and then I suppose
Okay.
do just to take it a little step at a time. I do have plans going ahead, like I
Uh-huh.
thought,
Don't want to spill the beans.
and I suppose I don't want to over talk. Like I have a bad habit doing that. Like in my videos, sometimes I waffle and I do try and get to the point and I do struggle.
I know, well,
Over
you have a lot of ideas, Michael, so I wanted to give you that opportunity, but yeah, I agree. You should focus one thing at a time. So, how are you going to do
Yes.
it this month? What are your ideas? And we can list it here even.
Yeah. Um, I guess it's planning to sort of, I'd love to travel to Italy and share although I don't have the coaching badges, I'd love to go and say, let's try these different strategies and see if they work. Um, and I'd love to so for instance with youth development, I think Juventus, their name means youth in English. And I'd love for them to do more on youth development because I think it doesn't really fit their name when they don't play young players and things like that. But obviously it's a balance with like child protection and at the same time getting younger players to have opportunities to learn coaches and people. So getting that balance right um, and um, yeah, seeing how they could have more academies. I'd love to fundraise for Juventus to have so many academies where the young players play and give more opportunities, especially for those in Italy itself. So that could benefit the national team as well. Um, and looking at strategies and ideas and how different thinking, like neurodiverse thinking, can benefit them, for instance, and Anglo-Indians and Asians generally. And also, so I'd love to go with different groups and practice in Italy if I could. And if not this month, maybe plan for it this month. But as soon as I maybe get funding and groups together, hopefully.
You
I
should.
was going to say actually about
Uh-huh.
Italian football, and I was thinking if you talk about a business or political party, you probably don't want to talk about your weaknesses or things that are not so good about it. But then I thought maybe those are things to change. So Italian football is known to be it's known to have a few problems. Like it's known to be quite boring compared to other leagues. So it's known to be very defensive rather than attacking, like Spanish or Brazilian or
Right.
whatever. And it's also known to have a hooligan problem, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, even a racist problem, um, which I say is a mixed. I joke about being mixed race and say like it's a mixed up thing that I support Italy, even though I'm an anti-imperialist. Um, uh, but I'd love to change some of those things, like to say how can Italian football challenge hooliganism, prejudice, um, and the corruption that's happening in past match fixing and things like how can it tackle those issues and become more attacking as well, play different, um, play more attacking football, which could make it more attractive to people
Yeah.
in other parts of the world. And I suppose that ideas like working with the diaspora as well. Obviously, there's an Italian diaspora in America, Argentina, Brazil, Canada, and places like that. So to work on the ideas again, I think that's my dyslexic creativity. Think about how can they capitalize on that diaspora to help the
Absolutely.
league and things like that.
Yeah, that's a big issue. I think a lot of the hooligan behaviors is just frustration and need to let go. And they do it in the sports arena, but can we turn that into being active in the sports facility itself, getting people involved in the sports more and be have
Yeah,
convert that passion of destruction to passion of the game. That would be awesome. I think it would be a great idea. And
yeah,
you just reminded me, like, because I know I have connections now to football. uh, there is a FIFA is working a lot with young people and creating that. You might want to reach out to that organization and see if you can work with them about neurodiversity background. I think they're really good into that. And didn't they just gave a prize to President Trump, I think,
yeah.
recently?
They can be a mocking a Peace Prize and it's awards happen, but I
Right,
won't go
but
that perfect.
they seem to be open to creating new things, like creating new awards, So why not? You can give it a
I
try.
did try and reach out to FIFA and UEFA, but I didn't get any response. I think my punctuation and things like that, I
Oh,
don't know if and then you don't know if they're going to read it anyway because they
true.
might have a team that just scans through it or just lets people post. But it would be good, I think. Like I thought FIFA and UEFA could, especially FIFA, could have like opinion polls for fans generally, not just Italian fans or Celtic fans or whatever, but fans generally to, as I mentioned in my videos themselves, like um, I mentioned in my own videos that I made that it would be cool to have opinion polls where like fans could say, I think this rule is ruining the game, so I think this should change, or this could be something they could implement, or this is something they shouldn't change. So
Yeah.
FIFA tries something that change, like listening to the fans to see what the fans want to see, even rival fans, like just fan generally, more of a voice. Um, Although obviously I'm more interested in the Italian football themselves and that kind of thing.
You need to find some Italian fans and have a conversation with them and say, "Hey, what is your idea of, what to change?" I think it would be a great video that you can put up and then you can share it to different organizations. I think that would be an awesome way to do it. You have to
Yeah, that's what
find,
I did try and reach out to say like
uh-huh,
a podcast where all possible Italian fans. I think you can get up to 100 on Zoom, but like as many, like say on Zoom, I think that's the easiest platform to use probably to communicate. So Italian fans from Canada, America, even Argentina, Brazil. Obviously, that I mean, it'd be easier if they speak English because
sure.
I can barely speak English that language. But um, Italian fans from Australia, Europe, Africa, Asia, all over the world to discuss like what are things we want to see. How could Serie A, the Italian league, how could it be more marketable to compete with like the EPL, the English Premier League, um, which is the top like marketing and that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, I did want to try. I do. That's one thing I do want to do. Yeah, is to get the. And I was thinking about the point you mentioned. I actually thought of something like that as well. Like the hooligans could be involved in like coaching the youth.
Yeah,
Obviously. I mean, that's a difficult issue because you have to think of like child protection. Or is it going to
sure.
be safe for them as well? Safe for the children, safe for them, and things like. I think there's a smoking problem in Italy, so it'd be good to challenge some of those things like improving diets, improving like how could they take that instead of hooliganism? How can they change that? Say, actually, we're going to be proud to make our team win, um, and be involved in like learning how to coach
Yeah.
things like that. I don't know how many could, but if we get in a few,
But they
I
can
think.
be trained, that's for sure. I think that a lot of them are maybe they're looking for opportunities and that it's a funny way to get an attention. But you can turn it around and say, yeah, I used to do this and now I'm here to teach you the better way or a different way of reacting to stress. Look at that. A lot of football fans are in poverty and they are in dire situations, and football is a way to relieve stress. Um, so it
But I
would be
think like, a lot of people like it's a macho thing, but also they plan it before games, things like that. I think
yeah,
if I'm not misunderstood. So it's something to show off and things like that. But again, they could have a different purpose. They could direct that purpose. Um, Reminds me of like an entrepreneur, Grant Cardone. I think he has ADHD, and he was saying about how he used to take drugs, but he changed that to work on business. And he found if he worked on business and like really worked hard on that, um, he um, he could direct that energy, similar with people with dyslexia, ADHD, or whatever, to
yeah,
direct that energy into something more positive and constructive or whatnot. And yeah, I was thinking, I don't know if I should mention this, but I was thinking there's a mafia problem, but I was thinking, should be careful what I say because I don't want to be a target. But I was thinking, like, in my naivety, perhaps this is a rather foolish idea, but I thought football could be something that Italians are grown to like say, let's make Italian football proud to go back to where it was.
yeah,
Yeah, maybe I'm
yeah.
being like,
Bring the pride back. That's for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Definitely. I think you have a really great idea, Michael, and I really think you need to promote it. And one way you could do is put a event on Facebook and promote that event just to grab people's attention and repeat it. Unfortunately, I learned this the hard way that if you want people to come and watch your videos and do participant, you have to constantly advertise it like all the time, and you need a location where they can go and visit, like a event page or something like that, and have it on a regular basis. Because unfortunately, based on my own experience as a coach, I do a lot of things online. If I do it one time, it's not enough people, so you have to repeat it several times until getting enough people to come and participate. And I think you really have a great opportunity to organize this and make it a solid place where fans can meet together and discuss about changes they want in the Italian football. That's for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know, Michael, we ran out of time already, but one final thought. What is your main goal for January? Your final
Oh,
your final wish.
my main goal. Oh, I suppose just to generally come up with ideas and network to benefit a town forward.
Yeah. So anyone who's watching this podcast, if you want to reach out to Michael and discuss more about Italian football, reach out. I will pass that information to Michael, of course. And I think Michael, when you have a page ready or an event ready, give it to me and I will advertise it here on the platform as well. But I think you have great ideas, Michael, and I hope maybe in a few months I will ask you how your thing is going. We're gonna make you put pressure on you
Mhm.
and make sure you go through your plans because you have really fantastic plans. You just need to do it. And I want to see you do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael, and thank you everyone for watching today, and thank you for watching our podcast. See you later.
Yeah, thanks, bye.
Bye.